Hey, you want to know what a human supernova looks like? Sitting in the parking lot of a Marriott hotel. Fuck you. In your nice hotel. I can't even afford a motel. Cunt. We're just outside of Lowell, Massachusetts. And I'm not good enough. And my dick ain't big enough to be in that hotel with two pretty girls who hate me now. And I don't blame them. But I don't blame myself either. And I'm not about to say I'm fucking sorry. It is 8:33 a.m. I've been out here all night. I walked 6 miles through the fucking hoot owls and the trees and the water slopping around in muck, trying to find a road. And I found a road. Then I'm trying to find lights, and I found some lights. 6 miles. And boots that are fucking eating holes in my feet. I'm bleeding into my fucking boots from my heels and my ankles. Trying to find some light. I come across a supermarket. It's about 4 in the morning. No cigarettes. Well, I have cigarettes, but no booze. I'm looking for more cigarettes. I'm looking for booze, which I don't have. I'm looking for a way to get away from these women. Get out of the state. I'm trying to get back to Florida. Middle of the night in Massachusetts. I found a man who was loading bread into the back of a minivan. I get in the fucking minivan with him. Give him $20. Take me back to the fucking Marriott, you know. We talk about licking women's asses. We talk about doing coke, cheating on your wife, cheating on your girlfriend, your child's being born, and you're in a hotel somewhere snorting coke and fucking whores a year into your first marriage. Maybe it was probably his 5th marriage. It would have been my first or second when I did shit like that. Except I did have a kid. Let's see, too many stories. But he got me back here. We shook hands. I gave him a bunch of books. I've given all my books away. I give everything fucking away. I made maybe a couple $100 with my books on this trip, but it's all spent. Going back to Florida with no rent. And anyway, that man, I liked that man a lot, so I gave him my books. I liked him. He was honest, very honest. He meets a stranger, and all he does is spill his guilt into my lap. Because he knew I was ready to spill mine, and I spilled a few, you know. At least he wasn't a homo. He didn't ask me to blow him or anything, you know. I got into strange cars in the middle of the night, and all kinds of places, all over the country. You know, strange people. And there's always homosexuality, and it's all speed-fueled, you know. Sometimes I gave, sometimes I didn't, you know. I'm not Jesus Christ, you know. I can't be good all the time. But the point of this tape is to reveal the awfulness of Quentin Tarantino. The way I take him down in this, I just realized it is really, absolutely, probably the most accurate, the most naked, and the most, just the most intelligent, coherent, articulate takedown of this man that you'll ever read. And I wrote it, what, 5-6 years ago? And I didn't even know it. I mean, I knew I'd done something. I didn't know it was the best. I've never seen anything since to match this takedown of Quentin Tarantino. Why do I hate him so much? Well, because I used to love him. A long time ago, 20 years ago. I feel like Jimmy McNulty in The Wire when he shoots Stringer Bell, and he says, "Got him on the wire." And he doesn't fucking know it, or he never knew it. Whatever the fucking line is, and I don't know. I think Tarantino's already dead and he doesn't know it, or no. What it is that I'm dead. And I'll never know it. But in a feeble attempt to make you know it, Quentin, I'm going to read what I've assessed independently of any media, of any money, of your career, which is very sad. In Tarantino's formative years, those that begat Reservoir Dogs and his screenplays for True Romance and Natural Born Killers, specifically, his work's considerable camp element always seemed held in check by an affection for his themes and his characters, however borrowed either may have been. In Kill Bill and Death Proof, we have only ciphers, and a rather depressing kind of fawning by way of spectacle and set piece. The film world expected miracles from the man, and throughout his decline as an auteur, a backlash has been conspicuously absent. This I would accredit to an unwillingness on the part of those critics who built his reputation to admit the misguidance of their own splenetic prophecies, as well as a lazy, overweening loyalty on the part of his fans who rejoice in that kind of one of us group projection epitomized by the Ramones' signature tune. And if you don't know this, if you didn't know it already, I really hate the Ramones. I hate stupidity. I just hate it, unless it's real. You know, real stupidity, poor people suffer, and I'm one of those. But not like the Ramones say one of us. That's fake stupidity, and there's nothing worse than being fake stupid. Is this thing still on? Good. I want you to hear this. This is low-budget rock and roll trash as party insignia, as gang graffiti, not as gutter-level American history. Tarantino and his ilk practiced the gross mishandling of that history in their work, in which it is pawed over with trembling fingers, as an old promotional film card would be at a convention. These are myopic and pedestrian fetishists, not even credible as film zealots. Kim Morgan. Not everything vaunted in this world is shallow, and they have the vision of tunnel rats. Kim Morgan. If Tarantino, been drinking all night, I could barely breathe. If Tarantino had stopped making films after Pulp Fiction, he would have found himself the cinematic equal of those one or two hit wonder pop singles that he champions in the soundtracks of his films, but a rather noble example. On the strength of those films, years later, with the tacky imitators only beginning to die off, we would have been left to wonder about this oddball Tarantino and what he would have eventually done with all that pop trash that had so transformed him during his childhood and gestated, finally emerging as 2 or 3 or 4 films which exploded over the landscape as bona fide pop sensations. Pulp Fiction's arresting irreverence would have aged better than it has. That poor aging is not simply due to the man's imitators, and Jesus, they are everywhere. Still are. Associated were everywhere, because it was the late 90s, you know, films like 2 Days in the Valley and shit like that. I mean, those films were Thursday, they were a dime a dozen. I mean, I think there's probably 100 of them. I'm smart. Even then, back then, I was smart enough to not really watch more than a few of them. I saw what was going on. I knew it then, as I know it now. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. Hence the rant, which I wrote, like I said, 5 years ago. And it's, you know, maybe I was a better writer back then. I like this stuff. And I'm right. Pulp Fiction was always destined to become one of those very fads, aging the way that all pop fads age. If films and filmmakers do start evolving a bit faster in the coming years, Tarantino will be Hollywood's Spuds MacKenzie by the quarter century, whereas other outdated iconoclasts, commonly acknowledged as innovators of film language, such as Cassavetes or Godard or Kenneth Anger, or more to the point Sam Peckinpah, all pop names in their day, survived the passage of time as more than funky relics, despite the more glaring evidence of their work's antiquity. Because if for no other reason, they were organic. Don't you fucking get it, man? Come on. The central conceit of Stephen King's Pet Sematary were in the soil of a magic Indian burial ground that returned the dead to life, having gone sour, produces only malefic zombies, offers a very interesting parallel to the story of Quentin Tarantino, and a small cadre of modern cult film auteurs. Of course, Crank. This is actually, I wasn't even writing about Tarantino. I was writing about Crank High Voltage, which is a great film, which you should see. But, Crank High Voltage seems poised on the brink of an aneurysm in every possible way, and fuck you if you weren't ready for the attack, for its heinously infantile efforts to create the most wretchedly overbaked and non-stop perversions and mutations of already perverse and mutant English slang. The film deserves some kind of award, with standout beauties such as I kiss and hug all the pussy, you go kill cocksucker, fag whore, or I bitch fuck your ass, or you got a big ass dick for a white boy, and massive homo cunt. Whatever import you felt your own epithets and profanity carried will be diminished on impact. Crank High Voltage will establish the fact that you have no zip or zap left in your curse words. This, you see, is only one such way in which the film asserts its hideous power. There are only 2 moments in CHV which begin to approach romantic sentimentality, and both moments achieve those directors' aims. There's 2 directors in this film. It's Neville Dean Taylor. And you guys, you used to be our saviors, and you what Ghost Rider 2? And then that Jonah Hex? Man, you guys really, really, really fucked up. But I like you because you're real. I think. I don't know. Maybe not. Crank High Voltage is real. You momentarily forget that you are entirely surrounded by grunting rapist misogyny, neck deep in a cesspool of Mexican gang violence, venereal sores, drug psychosis, abject human misery as far as the eye can see, baby. This is a breathtaking accomplishment, a euphoria-inducing burst of dumb sincerity. That works. Never mind the cheeky bits of porno, the propulsive collisions of sex and death, and that ever-smoldering triple backflip fudge pot profanity. None of this antisocial ignorance is any match for true love. Seeing it on the big screen this week was a high watermark for me as a viewer and as a critic. In years to come, I can only hope that it is resurrected for midnight screenings. It was so obviously meant for. Whatever these guys come up with next is bound to merit serious consideration and, more importantly, hope. Now I'm getting drunk. I talk about The Evil Dead. I talk about Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS. I talk about Escape from L.A., Escape from New York. You know, I know the genre. I know it better than Tarantino does. You know, better than he thinks he does, and better than he does, if that's possible at the same time. Fuck you, Quint. I can make a better movie than you in my fucking sleep. And it's time somebody fucking admitted that if you want to resurrect yourself, now would be the time, wouldn't it?